This is an Amstrad vintage laptop from 1987, and I'm about to find out if it still works or if it's going to blow up. I picked up this Amstrad laptop from a factory next to this prison, and today we're going to turn it on for the very first time and see if it has any life left. But before we dive in, let me tell you how I even got this laptop in the first place, and trust me, it was not easy. Picking up this computer was a bit of an adventure, I have to say. It was a 2-hour drive over the other side of Melbourne, and as I left, it started raining. Then I got a text from the owners who were cleaning out their factory, and they'd finished up, and they literally left the computer next to their dumpster outside with all their junk in it. So for me, it became a race against time. I was trying to stay ahead of the rainstorm, and I was wondering when their garbage truck was coming to collect all their rubbish. When I was 5 minutes away, the rain started pouring down. That rainstorm caught up to me, and by the time I got there, I thought it was all too late. Lucky for me, this laptop was covered by one piece of cardboard, and it was put in its original bag, which I didn't even know existed. And when I got home, I realized there was no power supply. Can you imagine? You've just picked up this thing, and how are you going to plug it in? So I sent a text message to the owners, and they told me it originally belonged to a family member who moved overseas permanently many years ago. So there was no hope in getting that original power supply back. Everything was just gone out of that factory. But I wasn't going to give up. Seriously, I thought, how hard could it possibly be? And I'm a big believer in things just finding their way to you when you need them. Now, if you've ever tried to find an original power supply for a weird Amstrad laptop from 1987, it's a bit of a challenging task. eBay in Australia had nothing, zero. The UK had one, but I just need to deal with adapters and stuff like that. I didn't really want to do that, and just when I was losing hope, a friend of mine, the clueless engineer, came to the rescue. Now, the clueless engineer, he had that exact laptop. Actually, he had 3, and he offered me one of his power supplies, and he was just going to make another one out of parts because he can. So he shipped it halfway across Australia, and here it is. But just when I thought I was ready, I realized I actually don't know if this thing has a hard disk. In fact, I didn't even know the specs. So I was really surprised when I looked into this laptop that its processor is actually an NEC V30. It runs at 8 megahertz, so it's like an XT, if you like. I know they run at 4, but it's in that era. It has 640K of RAM, and it has 2 3.5-inch floppy drives at 720K. Now, the display is actually an LCD, and it looks like it's 642 by 200. The laptop also has a ton of ports, like a parallel port, a serial port, a modem port, which is bizarre for that time. It runs on 1200 board, so you can see the characters literally go across the screen. And of course, it has a 12-volt power supply as well. Now, it weighs about 5.5 kilos, and its operating system is MS-DOS 3.3. So they're the specs. But here's the weirdest thing. This is like bizarre, and I've never seen this anywhere else. It has a compartment for 10 batteries. These are C-cell batteries. And that's $20 in batteries. If you go to your local Bunnings shop and buy a whole heap of C batteries, you're paying $20. And I don't know how long that would last. After having a laugh at the battery compartment, it occurred to me I didn't even have a bootable disk. I had no floppy disks for this thing. Back onto the internet I went, and after searching high and low, I found literally the only one on the planet. It was in Staffordshire, England. And after shipping that halfway around the world, I was finally ready. Now, because I didn't want this thing exploding in my house, I set it up in my backyard on a Bunnings table with a safety switch and an extension cord. The last thing I needed, it was toxic smoke, or worse, it's shorting out the electrical system in my house. And for the first time ever, I opened up that sealed Amstrad floppy disk. So here it is. It's finally time to see if this thing will power on or go up in flames. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got movement from the monitor. The LCD. It didn't blow up, but it's stuck on this weird please wait message. So something's definitely off here, and I don't know what it is, and the screen needs a bit of a contrast adjustment as well. So I'm going to have to come back and see what I can do, because this is just weird.
24 hours later.
Okay, after spending my Saturday night doing some research online, I found the issue might be due to dip switches, these tiny little switches on the side of the computer that control how it starts up. So I can show you what they were, and now I can show you what other people online have said that they should be, depending on the settings. I have a feeling that someone might have used maybe an external monitor or had some sort of other setting here. So let's just see if these adjustments can get this vintage machine back to life, or if we're just going to still stare at this please wait message forever. So I've brought the laptop back into the studio and I've made some adjustments to those dip switches, and now we're going to turn it on. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It works. That's great. Now I just need some MS-DOS games. I actually need a 720k disc with some games. Now I'm sure I've probably got 360k discs, but I'm not sure about, or maybe 1.4s, but I'm not sure about 720. What games do you reckon might run on here? I'm going to see if I can find some seriously old school retro games that I played with back in the day and see if they'll run. I'm wondering if things like Boulder Dash or Snipes might run on here. Certainly something like Alley Cat or Digger. I think they'd probably run on here. The big question is, though, how will it look on this LCD? Probably as retro as you can get, I guess. Leave a comment and let me know what games you think might run on here and how easy is it going to be to get that 720k disc. It's going to be a bit bizarre. I'll have to think about how I'm going to do that. Anyway, that's great news. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content. There's a lot more in my vintage computer and gaming collection, and I can't wait to share it with you.